The bright lights of United Nations headquarters in New York glowed against the night sky. Inside, Captain Olivia Wright stood tall in her blue Earth Defense Force uniform. Her dark hair was pulled back in a neat bun, and her green eyes watched the empty stage with focus. In just minutes, humanity would meet aliens for the first time. "Nervous?" asked General Frank Miller, his weathered face showing both excitement and worry. "Just ready, sir," said Olivia. She had trained for 15 years for moments like this. Space combat, emergency protocols, first contact scenarios, but nothing quite prepared her for the real thing. A soft hum filled the room. The air in the center of the stage began to shimmer like heat waves over hot pavement. Then in a flash of blue light they appeared. 7 aliens stood where empty space had been seconds before. Each looked completely different from the others. The one in front stood nearly 7 feet tall with pale blue skin that seemed to glow slightly. Its 4 arms were folded in what looked like a formal pose. "I am Ambassador Vexlor of the Galactic Council," the blue alien said, its voice deep and clear despite having no visible mouth. "We represent the 7 governing species of this sector of the galaxy." The room stayed silent for 3 long seconds before the UN Secretary General stepped forward. "On behalf of Earth and all humanity, we welcome you," she said. "I am Secretary General Diane Powell." Olivia watched as the aliens were introduced one by one. Each species had evolved on different worlds with different conditions. The Volarian representative, Zarthul, caught her attention most. Unlike the others who showed some form of polite interest, Zarthul's red eyes seemed cold and calculating. After the formal greetings, Captain Wright was introduced as the military liaison who would escort the aliens during their stay on Earth. "Captain Wright," said Zarthul, stepping closer to her. His voice sounded like stones grinding together. "Your species has advanced very quickly. Just 1 century from basic flight to space travel. Impressive and unusual." "Thank you, Olivia," replied, keeping her face neutral. "We're eager learners." "Indeed," said Zarthul. Something in his tone made the word sound like a warning. The next 3 days were filled with meetings, tours, and discussions. The aliens visited major cities, spoke with world leaders, and examined human technology. Olivia stayed with them constantly, watching and learning. The aliens seemed friendly enough except for Zarthul, who asked increasingly pointed questions about Earth's military capabilities. On the 4th day, Olivia was asked to show the Council representatives the International Space Defense Station. As their shuttle approached the massive orbital platform, Ambassador Vexlor turned to her. "Your weapon systems are quite advanced for your development stage," Vexlor said. "May I ask why Earth feels the need for such defenses when you've only just reached the stars?" Olivia chose her words carefully. "Humans believe in being prepared. We hope for peace, but want to protect our home." "A natural instinct," replied Vexlor. "But perhaps unnecessary now that you've met the Council. We have kept peace in this section of the galaxy for over 3,000 years. From the back of the shuttle, Zarthul spoke up. "What the ambassador means is that Council protection is far superior to anything Earth could develop. You would be wise to reduce your military and accept our guidance." The shuttle grew quiet. Olivia felt the weight of the moment. "I'm sure our leaders will consider all options," she said diplomatically. That evening, while the alien delegation attended a concert at Carnegie Hall, Olivia was called to a secure meeting at the Pentagon. She was surprised to see not just military officials but also Paul Garcia, the top analyst from Global Intelligence. "Captain Wright," said General Miller, "we need your assessment of these aliens, your gut feeling." Olivia stood straight. "Most seem genuine, sir, but Zarthul, the Valerian, he's different. He seems to view us as a potential threat or maybe a resource to control." Paul Garcia nodded and touched a screen on the table. "You're right to be concerned." A series of intercepted communications appeared. "We've managed to decode some of their transmissions. The Council is divided on how to handle Earth." Garcia swiped to show more text. 3 Council species, including the Valerians, believe humanity is developing too quickly and needs to be controlled. They've used this approach before with other emerging species. Controlled how? Asked Olivia. By making them afraid, Garcia said simply. Show overwhelming force, then offer protection in exchange for submission. Those other species are now low-ranking members completely dependent on the Council. General Miller's face hardened. We've been invited to witness a military exercise in the Alpha Centauri system next month. Now we know why. They want to scare us, Olivia said, understanding, dawning on her face. Exactly. And we need to be ready, said Miller. Captain Wright, we're promoting you to Admiral effective immediately. You'll lead our observation team to this demonstration. Who else will go with me? She asked. Dr. Alan Russell, our top E, military scientist, and Samantha Kelly from the Diplomatic Corps, said Garcia. Your official mission is to observe and report back. Your unofficial mission is to look for weaknesses, patterns, anything we can use. Olivia felt the weight of responsibility settle on her shoulders. What if their technology is truly beyond anything we can match? Garcia smiled slightly. Every species has limitations, Admiral. We just need to find theirs. The next morning, Admiral Wright returned to escort the alien delegation. She watched Zarthul more carefully now, noting how the other council members often deferred to him despite Ambassador Vexilor being the official leader. When the week-long visit ended, the council representatives prepared to depart from the same UN stage where they had arrived. We look forward to further diplomatic relations, said Ambassador Vexilor, and to your representatives visiting our demonstration next month. Zarthul's red eyes fixed on Olivia. Yes, Admiral Wright. We have much to show you. Olivia met his gaze steadily. We look forward to learning more about the Council. As the aliens disappeared in another flash of blue light, Olivia turned to General Miller, who stood nearby. They wanted to meet with us to assess if we're a threat, she said quietly. Miller nodded. And what do you think they decided? Olivia watched the empty space where the aliens had been. I think they're hoping to make us afraid, but they don't understand humans very well yet. No, agreed Miller. They don't. They want fear. He looked at Olivia with determination. Let's show them what humans are really made of instead. The journey to Alpha Centauri took just under 2 days using the Council's transportation technology. Admiral Olivia Wright sat beside Dr. Alan Russell and diplomat Samantha Kelly as their small shuttle approached the massive Council observation platform. Through the viewport, they could see the uninhabited moon that would be the target of today's demonstration. Remember why we're here, Olivia said quietly to her companions. Look for patterns, weaknesses, anything useful. Alan nodded, his fingers tapping nervously on his tablet. He was in his 40s with thinning brown hair and sharp blue eyes that missed nothing. Samantha, a veteran diplomat with 20 years of experience, simply straightened her suit jacket and kept her face neutral. Their shuttle docked with the observation platform, a ring-shaped structure large enough to hold hundreds of observers. As the Earth team stepped out, they were greeted by Ambassador Vexilor. Admiral Wright, welcome, said the tall blue alien. We are pleased you could witness this demonstration of Council peacekeeping capabilities. Thank you for the invitation, Olivia replied politely. Zarthul appeared behind Vexilor, his red eyes fixed on the humans. Yes, this should be most educational for your species. The observation deck featured a curved, transparent wall that offered a clear view of space and the target moon. Representatives from dozens of worlds filled the room, many stealing curious glances at the humans. Earth was the newest species to be contacted by the Council in over 50 years. The demonstration will begin shortly, announced Vexilor. Please take your seats. The Earth team was given a place of honor in the front row. As they sat down, Alan leaned closer to Olivia. Notice how they've positioned us? They want to make sure we don't miss anything. That's the point, Olivia whispered back. They want us to see their power up close. A hush fell over the crowd as 7 Council warships moved into position around the moon. Each ship represented one of the Council's governing species and was at least 3 times larger than Earth's biggest vessel. Observe the precision and control of Council defensive systems, Vexler announced to the gathered audience. The demonstration began. The Valerian ship fired first, a beam of intense red energy striking the moon's surface. Where it hit, the ground simply ceased to exist, leaving a perfectly smooth crater 2 miles wide. Next, the Turani vessel released what looked like a swarm of silver particles that consumed an entire mountain range in seconds. One by one, each ship displayed weapons beyond human understanding. Some bent light itself. Others seemed to alter gravity or manipulate matter at its most basic level. Within 20 minutes, half the moon was gone, transformed into either debris or perfect engineered landscapes. Olivia kept her face calm, but her heart raced. How could Earth possibly stand against such technology? Beside her, Samantha maintained, her diplomatic poker face, while Alan watched with intense concentration, his eyes darting between the ships, recording every detail. The final demonstration will now commence, Vexler announced. All 7 ships moved into formation and seemed to link their weapon systems. A pulse of energy built between them, growing brighter until it was painful to look at directly. Then it released, striking the remainder of the moon. In a flash of light, the entire celestial body shattered into perfectly uniform pieces, as if it had been cut by an invisible knife. A collective gasp rose from the audience, followed by applause from many of the species present. The Earth team remained silent. Zarthul approached them as the demonstration concluded. Impressive, is it not? This is but a fraction of the Council's capability. Very impressive, Samantha said diplomatically. The Council clearly values precision. Indeed, said Zarthul. We hope Earth recognizes the benefits of Council protection. Many dangers exist in the galaxy. After a reception where they met representatives from other worlds, the Earth team was shown to their quarters on the station. Once alone, and after checking for listening devices, they gathered in Alan's room. They're trying to intimidate us, Olivia said, pacing the small space. Alan nodded, examining the data he had collected. Yes, but there's something off about the whole demonstration. What do you mean? Asked Samantha. It was too perfect, too choreographed, Alan explained. They showed us exactly what they wanted us to see, nothing more. He pulled up some readings on his tablet. The energy outputs, the timing, everything was calculated for maximum visual impact. You think they're hiding something? Olivia stopped pacing. I think they have limitations they don't want us to know about, Alan said. For instance, did you notice the cool-down period between each ship's demonstration? They disguised it as ceremonial pauses, but my readings show their systems were actually cycling down to prevent overheating. Samantha leaned forward. So their weapons are powerful but can't be used continuously? Exactly, Alan said. And there's more. The ships maintained a specific distance from each other. I believe their weapons systems might interfere with each other if they get too close. Olivia felt a spark of hope. Weaknesses we could potentially exploit. Potentially, Alan agreed. But we need more data. Late that night, while Olivia and Samantha slept, Alan couldn't rest. He reviewed his readings again and again, looking for patterns. Around 3 a.m., he found something that made him sit up straight. That's it, he whispered to himself. The next morning, as they prepared to return to Earth, Alan pulled Olivia and Samantha into a quick huddle. The demonstration was designed specifically for human psychology, he explained hurriedly. The colors, the timing, even the sound frequencies, they were all calculated to trigger fear responses in humans specifically. How do you know? Olivia asked. The data patterns. They've studied us thoroughly. This wasn't just a show of force. It was a custom-made fear stimulus for our species. On the return journey, the Earth team sat quietly, each lost in thought. As their shuttle neared Earth, Olivia finally broke the silence. They want us afraid because they think fear will make us compliant, she said. They're showing us exactly what they want us to see. Samantha nodded. Classic intimidation tactics. They're treating us like we're children who need to be scared into behaving. They don't understand humans very well. Alan said with a slight smile. Fear doesn't always make us compliant. Sometimes it makes us dangerous. As Earth came into view through the viewport, Olivia made a decision. When we land, we tell only those who need to know what we've discovered, and then we start planning. Planning what? Asked Samantha. Olivia's eyes reflected the blue of their home planet. How to show the Council that humans aren't so easily controlled. The Council wanted fear, they got fire. Part 3. 6 months passed since the demonstration in Alpha Centauri. Earth had become a busy place with Council representatives now living in major cities around the world. They brought amazing technology and knowledge, but always with strings attached. Admiral Olivia Wright stood at the window of her office in the Pentagon, watching rain fall on Washington, D.C. The phone on her desk rang, breaking her thoughts. Admiral Wright, she answered. They're here, said General Miller's voice. The Council representatives have arrived with their terms. Olivia took a deep breath. I'll be right there. The meeting room was filled with Earth's top leaders. President Laura Martinez sat at the head of the table, her face serious but calm. Beside her sat the UN Secretary General and leaders from China, Russia, India, and the European Union. Across from them were Ambassador Vexilor and Zarthul, along with 3 other Council aliens. Olivia took her seat quietly as President Martinez opened the meeting. We understand you have terms for Earth's membership in the Galactic Council, the President said. We're eager to hear them. Ambassador Vexilor nodded. After 6 months of observation, the Council has determined Earth is ready for probationary membership. Zarthul slid a data tablet across the table. These are our requirements. President Martinez read the tablet, her expression unchanged. But Olivia, who knew her well, saw the slight tightening around her eyes. The President passed the tablet around the table. When it reached Olivia, she understood why. The terms were harsh. Earth must reduce its military forces by 70%. All space weapons must be removed. Earth must share all new technology with the Council for safety evaluation before using it. Council observers would be placed in all major human institutions, governments, military, research centers, even universities. Earth would have no vote in Council matters for at least 50 years. These terms seem quite restrictive, President Martinez said carefully. Zarthul leaned forward. They are necessary. Your species develops too quickly and unpredictably. The Council must ensure galactic stability. We offer protection and knowledge in exchange, added Vexilor, sounding more diplomatic. The benefits of membership are substantial. We will need time to consider these terms, said the President. Of course, Vexilor replied. You have 30 Earth days to provide your answer. After the Council representatives left, the room erupted in angry voices. This isn't membership, it's surrender, said the Russian President. They want to control our development, added the Chinese leader. Make us dependent on them. President Martinez raised her hand for silence. Admiral Wright, what's your assessment? Olivia stood. Based on our intelligence, I believe these terms are designed to keep Earth permanently subordinate. The Council, or at least parts of it, fears our potential. Can we negotiate better terms? Asked the EU President. We can try, Olivia replied. But I don't think the Valerians will budge. They've done this before. President Martinez nodded. Paul Garcia has information on that, Paul. Paul Garcia stepped forward with his data tablet. The intelligence analyst looked tired, with dark circles under his eyes. We've been studying Council records, he said. Over the past 1,000 years, 3 other species received similar treatment. All 3 accepted the terms. Today they remain low-ranking Council members with minimal independence. Their development was effectively frozen. The room grew quiet as this sank in. And if we refuse? Asked the Secretary General. Paul's face grew grim. Unknown. But we have reason to believe the Council, particularly the Valerians, would use force to ensure compliance. President Martinez stood up. Then we need options. I want military, diplomatic, and scientific assessments within 1 week. We will not surrender Earth's future without exploring every possibility. 3 days later, Olivia arrived at a secret underground facility in Wyoming. Few people knew it existed. After passing through multiple security checks, she entered a large room filled with scientists and military personnel. Dr. Alan Russell greeted her. "Admiral, thank you for coming." "What's so urgent, Alan?" she asked. He led her to a sealed laboratory. Inside was a piece of council technology, a small communication device left behind by one of the alien visitors. "We've been studying their tech," Alan explained, "and we found something interesting." He pointed to a holographic display showing the device's inner workings. "Their technology is advanced, but it's not magical. It follows rules we can understand." "Can we replicate it?" Olivia asked. "Some of it, yes. But more importantly, we can modify it." Alan's eyes lit up with excitement. "We've discovered their systems have blind spots, frequencies and patterns they can't detect or defend against. Because of their different evolution," Olivia realized. "Exactly. Their sensory systems evolved differently from ours. There are things humans can perceive that they physically cannot." This was the first real hope Olivia had felt in months. "How quickly can we develop this into something useful? With proper funding and personnel?" 6 months, maybe less. Olivia nodded. "You'll have everything you need. This is now Project Phoenix, top priority." 2 weeks later, Earth gave its official response to the Council. In the same meeting room, President Martinez faced Vexilor and Zarthul. "After careful consideration, Earth respectfully requests more favorable terms for membership," she said. "These conditions would severely limit our development and independence." Zarthul's red eyes narrowed. "The terms are non-negotiable." "Surely there's room for discussion," the president pressed. A communication alert interrupted them. On the large screen at the end of the room appeared an image of Earth's research station near Jupiter. Without warning, a beam of energy hit the station. In seconds, it was completely gone. "A demonstration," said Zarthul coldly. "The station was unmanned, as we knew. Consider it a warning." The room fell silent. Even Ambassador Vexilor looked uncomfortable. "You have 30 Earth days to comply with our original terms," Zarthul continued. "Further resistance will result in more significant consequences." After they left, President Martinez turned to Olivia. "How soon can Project Phoenix be ready?" "Soon enough," Olivia admitted. "We need more time." The president's face hardened with determination. "Then we'll give you time. We'll make them think we're giving in." "A deception?" Olivia asked. "Yes. We'll appear to accept their terms while secretly preparing." "Admiral Wright, it means you'll have to publicly retire in protest." "Dr. Russell, we'll need to disappear into academia. We'll put on a good show of compliance." Olivia nodded slowly. "It could work. The council believes we're afraid of them. Let's use that against them." "Exactly," said the president. "They wanted to make us afraid." Her eyes flashed with resolve. "Instead, they've lit a fire." Admiral Olivia Wright stood in front of news cameras, her face showing carefully crafted disappointment. She removed her medals one by one and placed them on the table. "After 20 years of service, I can no longer be part of a military that surrenders without a fight," she said, her voice breaking slightly. "I hereby resign my position in protest of Earth's decision to accept the Council's terms." The performance was perfect. Later that day, in her empty office, President Martinez visited her. "Excellent speech, Admiral," the president said quietly. "Very convincing." "Thank you, Madam President. What's next?" "You'll disappear tonight. A helicopter will take you to the Wyoming facility. From now on, you're the official leader of Project Phoenix." Olivia nodded. "And Dr. Russell?" "Already there, along with our best minds from around the world." The president handed her a secure tablet. "This contains the identities of your team. Memorize them, then destroy the data." That night, as the world believed she was packing up her apartment in Virginia, Olivia was flown to the secret underground facility in Wyoming. When she arrived, she was shocked by what she saw. The small lab had grown into a massive complex. Hundreds of scientists and engineers worked around the clock. In the main chamber, Dr. Alan Russell was examining a holographic display of what appeared to be a new type of ship. "Welcome to Phoenix, Admiral," he said with a tired smile. "We've been busy." "I can see that. Show me everything." Over the next 2 hours, Alan led her through the facility. They had made remarkable progress. Using the Council technology they'd studied, humans had created hybrid systems that combined alien tech with human innovation. The key breakthrough was understanding their quantum signatures, Alan explained. Every Council species uses the same basic principles in their technology, but they all have a blind spot. He showed her a display of energy waves. This frequency range is invisible to all Council species due to their evolutionary path. But humans can detect it easily. "And we can use this?" Olivia asked. "We already are." Alan led her to another section where engineers were building small devices. "These quantum disruptors can temporarily disable Council weapon systems without destroying them. Non-lethal but effective." Olivia picked up one of the devices. It was smaller than she expected. "How many do we have?" "About 200 now. We'll have thousands within 3 months." Meanwhile, in Washington, D.C., Paul Garcia sat in a coffee shop near the Council embassy. Across from him was a small alien with purple skin and large eyes. Unlike the dominant Council species, this one, named Leary, belonged to one of the newer member races. "The information you provided about the Valerian ship patterns was very helpful," Paul said quietly. Leary glanced around nervously. "Not all. Council members agree with Zarthul's approach. My people joined the Council 300 years ago. We faced the same ultimatum you did. And you're still second-class citizens," Paul noted. "Yes, many of us believe the Council should be a true partnership, not a hierarchy." Leary slid a small data crystal across the table. "This contains communication codes for sympathetic members of 4 other species. They will help when the time comes." Paul took the crystal carefully. "Thank you. This is a huge risk for you. Perhaps humans will change things for all of us," Leary said hopefully. Across the world, Earth appeared to be complying with Council demands. Military bases were being decommissioned, at least visibly. Weapons platforms in orbit were dismantled while news cameras watched. Council observers arrived in increasing numbers, taking positions in governments, universities, and research facilities. Zarthul personally led a team that inspected Earth's remaining military installations. They found exactly what they expected: a weakened, compliant humanity. "Your species is learning wisdom," Zarthul told the new Earth Defense Force leader who had replaced Olivia. But beneath the Atlantic Ocean, in secret facilities on Mars, and in hidden bunkers worldwide, Project Phoenix continued. Ships were built in underwater hangars. Weapons were tested in remote desert locations shielded from Council sensors. A new kind of resistance was taking shape. 4 months after her public resignation, Olivia stood on the bridge of humanity's first true stealth vessel, hidden in a massive underground lake beneath the Wyoming facility. The ship, unofficially named Defiance, contained the best of human and modified Council technology. "Run the test again," she ordered. The ship's systems powered up, then engaged its stealth field. On the monitoring stations, the ship completely disappeared from all Council detection methods. "Perfect," said Alan, checking the readings. "They won't see us coming." "How many ships do we have ready?" Olivia asked. 15 completed, another 20 nearly done, plus hundreds of smaller craft. Olivia nodded with satisfaction. "And the quantum disruption network?" "Ready to deploy. One push of a button and every Council weapon system in Earth orbit will go offline for exactly 6 minutes." In Washington, D.C., President Martinez met with Ambassador Vexilor and Zarthul for their regular progress update. Council observers stood at attention around the Oval Office. "Earth continues to meet all requirements," the President said, sliding a data tablet across her desk. "Military reduction is at 68%, just 2% short of the target." Zarthul examined the data with his cold red eyes. "Acceptable progress. And the technology transfer protocols?" All new patents and research are being submitted for council review before implementation, as required. Ambassador Vexler seemed pleased. You have adapted well to council guidance, President Martinez. The probationary period is proceeding smoothly. After the meeting, Zarthul and Vexilor walked to their embassy. The humans have been surprisingly compliant, Vexilor noted. Perhaps we were too harsh in our assessment of them. No, said Zarthul firmly. Their compliance only proves the effectiveness of our approach. Fear works. In time, they will forget they ever considered resistance. On the last day of the 5th month, President Martinez received a secure communication from the Wyoming facility. It was just 2 words: Phoenix ready. That evening, she met secretly with Paul Garcia in the White House basement. How many council allies do we have? She asked. Representatives from 6 species have agreed to stand down when we make our move, Paul replied. They're tired of Valerian dominance. And Zarthul still suspects nothing. Their surveillance shows exactly what we want them to see. The president took a deep breath. Send the message. Operation Phoenix begins in 3 days, during the official membership ceremony. 3 days later, Olivia stood on the bridge of the Defiance, now in position near Venus. 14 other stealth ships were stationed throughout the solar system, each with specific targets. All ships report ready, Admiral, said her communications officer. Olivia checked the time. In 1 hour, Earth would officially become a probationary member of the Galactic Council. President Martinez would sign the agreement in Washington, D.C. with all high-ranking council officials present. Send the final coded message to all Phoenix units, Olivia ordered. We move on the president's signal. She looked at the main screen, showing Earth beautiful and blue against the blackness of space. Around it orbited council ships unaware of what was coming. They wanted us afraid, Olivia said quietly. Instead, they'll learn what humans do when cornered. The Grand Hall of the White House was filled with officials from Earth and the Galactic Council. Reporters and cameras lined the walls to record the historic moment when humanity would officially join the Council as a probationary member. President. Laura Martinez sat at a large table with Ambassador Vexilor and Zarthul. The membership agreement lay between them, its digital pages glowing softly. Today marks a new chapter in Earth's history, the president said to the gathered crowd. Her voice was steady and gave no hint of what was about to happen. By joining the Galactic Council, humanity takes its place among the stars. Zarthul watched with satisfaction as President Martinez picked up the digital pen. This was his victory, another potentially troublesome species brought to heel through fear and intimidation. The president signed her name with a flourish. The agreement glowed briefly, recording her signature permanently. On behalf of the Galactic Council, we welcome Earth as a probationary member, said Ambassador Vexilor formally. May this partnership bring peace and stability to all. President Martinez stood up. This was the moment everyone expected her to give a speech about gratitude and cooperation. Instead, she looked directly at Zarthul. We have prepared a demonstration of our own, she said clearly. Confusion crossed the alien faces. Zarthul started to rise. What is the meaning of? The president touched a small device on her wrist. Operation Phoenix is go. Throughout the solar system, hidden human ships activated simultaneously. Near Venus, Admiral Olivia Wright gave the command. All Phoenix units execute primary mission now. On her command screen, 15 points of light blinked green as each ship acknowledged. The Defiance moved toward Earth, still completely invisible, to Council sensors. In Earth orbit, Council ships suddenly lost power to their weapon systems. The quantum disruption technology developed by Dr. Alan Russell worked perfectly, targeting the exact frequencies Council technology operated on. In the White House, the screens around the room lit up, showing what was happening in space. Council representatives watched in shock as their mighty warships floated helplessly. What have you done? Zarthul demanded, his voice rising in anger. Exactly what you forced us to do, the president replied calmly. Find a way to defend ourselves. Paul Garcia entered the room with several aliens, representatives of the lower-ranking council species who had secretly allied with Earth. Many in the council grow tired of rule through fear, Paul explained. They chose to stand with us today. Zarthul's red eyes burned with fury. This treachery will not stand. The full might of the Valerian fleet will reduce your world to ash. President Martinez remained calm. I suggest you look at the main screen again. The display changed to show the Valerian homeworld. Near it, previously invisible, a human ship appeared. Then another appeared near the Tirani world. One by one, human vessels revealed themselves near each of the 7 council homeworlds. Impossible, whispered Vexillor. How did you build such ships without our knowledge? You were so busy watching us dismantle our old technology that you never noticed. Us building something new, explained the president. Something that uses your own tech against you. In orbit, Admiral Wright directed her fleet with precision. Maintain positions. Quantum disruptors at full power. On her bridge, a communication came through. It was Zarthul, his face contorted, with rage. This is an act of war, human. You cannot hope to stand against the full council. We don't want war, Olivia replied firmly. We want partnership, real partnership, not submission disguised as protection. Back in Washington, President Martinez activated a holographic display in the center of the room. It showed detailed schematics of council technology, including weaknesses humans had discovered. We've learned much about you in these past months, she said. Your weapons are impressive, but not perfect. Your ships are powerful, but have limitations. You are advanced, but not gods. Leary, the small purple alien who had helped Paul, stepped forward. Many council worlds support Earth's position. The old ways of intimidation must end. Ambassador Vexillor looked troubled. Unlike Zarthul, he seemed to understand the gravity of the situation. What are your terms? He asked quietly. Equal membership, President Martinez said immediately. Not probationary status, an equal vote in council matters. No military restrictions beyond what applies to all members. No special observers in our institutions. Absurd, shouted Zarthul. No new species has ever received such terms. Perhaps it's time for change, suggested Vexillor, surprising everyone. The humans have proven themselves more resourceful than any species we've encountered in centuries. On the Defiance, Olivia received a message from one of her ships near the Valerian homeworld. Admiral, we're detecting power buildup in the Valerian defense grid. They may be attempting to override our disruptors. Olivia made a quick decision. Activate secondary disruptors. Target only the command nodes. The human ship near the Valerian world fired precision bursts of energy at key points in the planet's defense system. Rather than destroying them, the bursts simply reset the systems, causing them to go through lengthy reboot procedures. In Washington, the standoff continued. Zarthul refused to consider Earth's terms, while more council representatives were siding with Vexillor's call for compromise. Finally, an elder council member, a wise Medusan who rarely spoke at such gatherings, raised her voice. For 3,000 years, the council has maintained peace through strength, she said slowly. But perhaps our methods have become outdated. The humans have shown us not only courage but wisdom. They could have attacked us directly. Instead, they seek partnership. The room fell silent. Even Zarthul could not easily dismiss the words of a Medusan elder. President Martinez seized the moment. We propose a new agreement, one that reforms the council itself. Equal representation for all member species. Decisions made by consensus, not dominance. Vexillor nodded slowly. I believe this has merit. The council was founded on principles of unity and mutual benefit, not hierarchy. Over the next 3 hours, as human ships maintained their positions throughout the galaxy, new agreement took shape. Zarthul eventually stormed out, but without support from other council species, the Valerians could not act alone. By evening, a preliminary new charter was ready. Earth would join as a full member. The council structure would be reformed to give all species equal voice. The era of fear-based control was ending. As Admiral Wright finally gave the order for her ships to stand down, she received a call from President Martinez. "We did it, Olivia," the president said, looking tired but triumphant. "Not through war, but through strength and unity." "What happens now?" Olivia asked. "Now we help build something better," replied the president. "The council wanted to make us afraid, to control us through fear." Olivia nodded, watching as Earth turned peacefully below her ship. Instead, they ignited our fire, not just for resistance, but for creating a better galaxy for all. As the Defiance turned toward home, Olivia thought about the long journey ahead. Humanity had earned its place among the stars not by conquest or submission, but by courage, innovation, and the refusal to be ruled by fear. The Council had wanted fear. They got humanity at its finest instead.